both teams really had their offense rolling throughout the night. You guys went on that big run in the fourth quarter there to really stretch the lead. What went into that run? What did you feel out there on the floor then?
We were just getting stops. Played a little harder defensively. A big emphasis for us is just kind of not come out flat that second half. And try and play those first 5 minutes really hard, and we were able to do that. And they even got it back to one. I didn't think they took the lead after we had kind of built that gap, and I thought we just were able to kind of stick with it and get a couple crucial stops. And I think that led to us being able to kind of win.
They threw a lot of different looks at you guys defensively throughout the night. That's just what they do. They scheme throughout the night. And you guys didn't seem to have a hitch offensively. What kind of went into that to make sure that you were still getting good looks throughout the night?
Guys are comfortable playing different positions on our team, so the same way that they're scheming, we're trying to figure out different ways to attack that, and we've seen a lot of different looks this year. A lot of that is us being unselfish and kind of willing to play through other people, and I think we were constantly doing that and trying to kind of flex that muscle. And guys are just kind of trusting each other to make the right play, which makes it easy for us to kind of get different looks.
Career high 12 assists tonight. In DC, we were talking about what goes into having a connection like you had with Wiggins in that game. Just with Chet, because we do have 4 lobs. What have you learned?
He caught all 4 of them?
I think so.
Nice, good for Chet.
Yeah, he dunked and he threw. Just what goes into learning what he likes, doesn't like, what makes him tick. The kind of things that build a connection like you had with him tonight.
I think it goes back to the last question of just being comfortable playing with each other. They're throwing a lot of different looks and switching and, trying to jump screens and stuff like that. So it's just good dialogue within the game. Chet's a really high IQ player, too, so we kind of are able to talk through some of the stuff he sees and what I'm seeing in the game. We have a pretty open dialogue when it goes to that, so I'm just finding him on stuff, and he's versatile, so teams are worried about him popping, and, then he's able to kind of quick roll and get out of there and take up space in the paint and finish. So he's done a good job of that. I'm just, throwing it somewhat close to the rim, and he's been able to finish them.
There are so many deflection-type hustle plays. Shai had the big one at the end of the third quarter to set up your free throws. You had the one that ends up with a mark challenge. Are those plays resonating in the flow of a game?
Yeah, for sure, especially the challenge, because we had to stop Mark from challenging like 6 plays in the first quarter. So, but that's our biggest thing, and the Heat play that way too, just really hard. So trying to match that and exceed that is something that we came into the game trying to do. But yeah, just like hustle plays, like when you have Shai, the best player on our team, diving on the floor and doing stuff like that, it kind of sets the tone for everybody to be wanting to do it. And we're a competitive group, so everybody's kind of willing to put their body on the line and make those hustle plays. That was something we talked about at halftime, just trying to match the physicality and energy. And we did a good job of that.
Anything else?
Cool.
One more. Go ahead, Joel.
Yeah, I just the second half defense. We talked a little bit about you being part of it. Fourth quarter start, but just does it feel like that second half was more reminiscent of the defense that's been played for much of this year?
Yeah. We've been, the road trip's long, so and teams will hit shots. That's just how the NBA and basketball works. But I think we did a good job of going into our game plan a little better and executing that. I think we forced a couple looks that they didn't want to shoot, and we were able to kind of capitalize on that offensively, which is how we were able to stretch the lead out. And a lot of it just goes down to playing really hard, making up for some of the mistakes we had. And we had kind of gotten away from it a little bit just in this big stretch, but last 2 games we've been kind of able to get on track with that and, kind of showed up.
And a follow-up, if I may. You mentioned just some of the things about the trip. That is out the way. It feels like this would be one of the defining moments of the season, just in terms of the learning curve. Just how would you summarize this trip now that it's over?
We play in like 6 hours, so for us the trip's not even really done. But just learn about ourselves playing on the road. We've been in a lot of tight situations up until this point too, so just trying to understand that any possession in the game can win or lose it. So just trying to stack possessions. A lot of it's just been recovery. It's a lot of games in January, so learning through that. And we're doing a good job of it, just trying not to make the same mistakes we make each game and build on that.
Nick Allen, KC Thunder. Shai, defensively, second half, you hold those guys at 33% shooting. Anything that you felt out there defensively that you guys were doing at a higher level, maybe at the point of attack or anywhere else?
I think we just made them work offensively. We tried to make their main guys play in the crowd, not play in space, and make them make multiple efforts offensively to try and score.
Shai, Mark gave you guys a lot of credit for, really drumming up energy tonight on the road, last game of a road trip. Just what goes into that for you guys, and just how important was that energy for you guys in this game?
Just us wanting to win. We didn't start the road trip the way we wanted to. We knew that. We just really wanted to win this game and wanted to do whatever it took.
And another really high assist night, 36 assists for you guys as a group. Just what does that say about the identity of this team offensively?
Unselfish, play together, make the right basketball play.
Shai, Dub had a career high 12 assists tonight. Through the last 2 games, he's up to 22 assists. I just wonder what you've seen from him this season in terms of making that leap as a facilitator.
He's just playing basketball, make the right decisions, and being aggressive, most importantly. When he's aggressive, we're really hard to guard. He's just another dynamic ball handler who can make plays for himself and guys around him.
And Mark just mentioned that you see the big picture about as well as anybody at this juncture of your career. I just wonder what's helped you see the big picture and just what's given you perspective.
I watch a lot of basketball, and I pay attention to history, and I really want to win. And I've lost a lot in my career, and I really want to win.
Shai, the zone that Miami threw out tonight, just from my view, looked a little different than some others that you see. Is there anything unique about it? And it just seems like you guys recognized what you needed to do very quickly against it.
Yeah, their zone it's different. They probably played the most in the league, and it stifled us in the past. We knew that coming into the game, and we had a few plans of attack. Vasa came in the third quarter and had good minutes, kind of penetrating it. But, yeah, we knew they were going to throw it at us. They usually do every time we play them. We were pretty good tonight against them.
You're third in voting among guards for the All-Star game. How meaningful will be to be a starter this year for a person?
It would be an honor. It would be fun. Something you dream about as a kid.
Anybody else? We got two more. One
Shai,
here.
Mark also mentioned that you're one of the most ambitious players he's seen, but you don't stifle your teammates. You use that word specifically. Do you think that's something in your personality, or is that something you have to work at game in and game out, that you have that balance on the court where you can do that?
A little bit of my personality. I'm unselfish, and I want my teammates to have fun out there as well. But I also know what it takes, and I've seen what it takes to win, and I know you need some really good teammates around you, no matter how good you are and how great you are. So I know if I don't empower them and get the best out of them, then I won't get to my ultimate goal. A little bit selfish, I guess, but yeah.
Say,
Last one, Joel.
that is over. I just wonder how you summarize this East Coast trip and just what you think, looking back down toward the end of the season, what this trip might mean for this team's success.
I don't know. I don't think it'll. I don't think it's determined anything, or I mean, sure, there's a few games we wish we could get back, but you learn lessons in those games, and I think it'll make us a better team in the future. So we started the road trip. We didn't start the road trip the way we wanted to, but we ended it, and kind of got the car back on the road to close out the road trip. So we learned from our mistakes and move forward.
Nick Allen, KC Thunder, Mark, in the second half, I think you forced them to 35% shooting or so. How much of that was what you all were doing at point of attack? And I remember you said recently how you start possessions often dictates how you end them.
Yeah, I thought the first half, obviously we played really well offensively and found good shots against their defense. which is hard to do, but that kept us in the game. I just didn't think physically we were very good, especially at the rim. They were just kind of slicing through us, getting wherever they wanted to go. They were very comfortable there. And then in the second half, we really tightened the screws there. I thought we were really alert. The group to start the second half was an 11-0 run, I think. And then it was 13-0 to start the fourth. Those two different groups were really, really good, and it was mostly our defense, and that was the difference in the game, I thought.
Mark, Tim Reynolds with the AP. What is it about this team that a bunch of young guys come to Miami at the end of a trip, not just have the legs to play 48 the way you did, have the maturity to go with kind of the ebbs and the flows? I know you're probably tired of the question, but it's an incredibly, it looks like a very mature group for a very young group. What is it about this group that makes it so grown up at this point in their careers?
Yeah, I think there is an uncommon maturity about them, as I've said before. A lot of it's who they are as people, and I think a lot of them had that walking in the door. And then it gains momentum when there's like-minded people together, and they bounce off each other in that way. And I thought tonight it was the end of a trip. We have not had our fastball physically the last couple of games, I think. I didn't think we had it tonight. But we drummed up the energy. We had the mental toughness to stay in it and drum up the energy, stay disciplined to the game plan. And I thought we got stronger as the game went on. And I thought some of that was just the contagiousness of the group. And we've seen that time and time again. We're not perfect, but they have a pretty high baseline of competitive maturity. I would agree with that.
Coach, you mentioned the offense in the first half, and really it was kind of humming throughout the entire night. What did you think of the group's ability to generate good looks throughout the night, given that Miami was throwing a lot of different schemes and looks at you guys?
Yeah, that was a great game for us because, as I said before the game, that's a team that really keeps you off balance. They have great game plans and execution of those game plans. They change defenses. They change matchups. They really keep you on your toes, and I thought the guys did a great job tonight of recognizing what we needed to do. Their aggression on the ball and in the initial help is really high, and so you've got to have the poise to just kind of play to the next action, play to the second side. And I thought on a lot of possessions we did that. We moved the hell out of the ball on some possessions and really found great shots, even some of the ones that didn't go in tonight. So offensively, like the last game, I thought we had great attacks. It was the defense that kind of was ebbing in and out, but we found enough of it tonight to get the win.
And just one quick follow-up tonight. 36 assists for you guys tonight. That's just a very common number, it seems like, at this point in the season. Just what do you think of the identity that you guys are building in terms of that aspect of the game?
Yeah, we're sharing the ball. It's impressive. They trust one another and trust what we're doing. And at the end of the day, good defenses make you do that. And if you want to be a good team, you have to react to that, to read the defense. And I thought the guys did a great job of that tonight. Like I said, I thought we had great movement tonight, both floor movement with our off-ball stuff and then movement of the ball.
Mark, we just talked about Jalen as a facilitator in D.C. I just wonder what you saw from him tonight, and specifically the connection between him and Chet. What ways you've seen that materialize to have a night like tonight?
Yeah, they've been great. We've obviously done a great job in those minutes lately. I think it's a great lesson of, that was rough to start the year. Those units, to start the second, start the fourth, we had a hard time finding our footing with those guys on the court. And they just worked through it together, at the end of the day. And the units have done that. It's not just those two guys, but those two guys in particular have worked through it together, have taken ownership of that, and have worked together to make that a good tandem and to make sure that they're effective in their actions. And that's only grown in a short period of time. And as long as they continue to work through it together like that, it's going to continue to grow.
Follow-up, if I may. Just what's been most encouraging about, Jalen being the one who's seemingly throwing Chet the most lobs and just the general connection?
Just the willingness to work through it, because I think it's important to remember, it didn't start in this place. We've worked to this point, and we need to be a team. We've had some success and won some games, but we need to be a team that continuously improves, in all different facets of the game. As a team, in our actions together, with our details, we have to continue to look at our experiences in a really non-emotional way and just find ways to marginally improve with all these experiences, all these games. And that's how you get stronger in the NBA, and we want to be a team that gets stronger as the year goes on.
Can
Can you talk about how much that flows from Shai, his ability to impact games when he's not even scoring here tonight? Like in a certain quarter, he might not be attacking the rim as much as a scorer. How much of that unselfishness flows from him and your offense?
Yeah, he's into the team, for sure. He's into the team. He wants to win. He sees the big picture, as well as anybody that is as ambitious as him this early in his career. And he's been like that from day one. He's always seen the big picture, understands that, the game in front of us is important, but that the game in front of us fits into a larger picture, and that we have to have an investor's mindset, if we want to reap returns like an investor. And he's always had that spirit, continues to have that spirit. I think it's evidenced by seeing how these other guys grow around him. He can be an elite player, but he doesn't stifle the guys around him. That's one of the most impressive things.
You alluded to it a second ago, but how do you keep this team 25-11, half game out in the West, thinking, hey, we're there, we've done something already? Where does that growth mindset come in when they look at the standings and say it's going really well?
It's just having an understanding of what's put us in this position. What's put us in this position is we've improved continuously. We prepare for the next game. We execute as best we can. We do our best. We compete together in the games. We understand it's not perfect, and then we learn from the good, the bad, and we just rinse and repeat, 82 times. And if you do that and you stack that up, you're going to become the best team you can be, whatever that is. And we have to be okay with wherever that lands us. But when we've had some success, we have to understand that process has landed us there. And if we want to continue to grow, then we need to continue to invest in that process. But this is a team that, I think, at least to this point, they've been very naturally aligned with that.
Coach, talking about the rankings, how important is for you and for the guys that's at that position in the Western Conference?
Not really that important right now. We're just trying to be the best team we can be, and like I said, let that win the day. If you commit to a process and you just do your best and be the best team you can be, then wherever you end up is where you're supposed to be, and you can rest your head on the pillow at night knowing that that's, you've maxed out. And I think this team, we're not perfect every night. It's the NBA. It's really hard to be perfect. But, I think we do a good job of maxing that out, and we're content with wherever that lands us.
Coach, you guys took about 60% of your shots tonight in the mid-range and converted about 69% of them, if I remember correctly. What does it say about being able to do that in such a high volume at a high rate in the modern NBA and make that be an efficient part of the offense? Was it just a thing tonight of reacting to the way that the Heat helped, or how do you feel about the way that played out tonight? Yeah,
we're league average or a little below maybe in terms of distribution there. We shoot it really well from those spots. I think the mid-range stuff, not all shots are created equally. Some of those are open. Most of them are open. Most of them are good looks for us. But they're created by rim pressure, and they're created by our willingness to throw it to the perimeter. So if teams are going to sell out to take away the rim or to take away the perimeter on a given possession, and that's the best shot available, usually it's a pretty good one. But we have to be a team that's willing to explore more efficient shots on a given possession, and then be willing to take that if that's the best thing available. But certainly that's not something we're hunting.
Coach, people say around the league, OKC is just Shai, Josh, or Chet. But today, Shai just scored 1 point in the second quarter. But between Joe, Dort, and Williams, they scored 22 points in that quarter. How good is this for the team and as a team?
And we want to be a team where the whole is better than the sum of the parts, and we've got some good parts. We got some really talented players, but we have to play together and activate one another if we want the whole to be better than our talent. And like I said before about Shai and really about our whole team, they're a team that understands that and are willing to invest in that and willing to, sacrifice maybe a couple more touches or points or shots in pursuit of that. And I think to this point, that's why we've maximized ourselves as a team.
Last question.
Now that this trip is over, you've been trying time and again, it feels like. How would you summarize this trip and just, how has it played out in your eyes?
Just we've learned from some games here, I thought, we didn't have our fastball from an energy standpoint on this trip. We had a lot of late arrivals, a lot of travel. lot of built-in excuses, scheduling excuses that every team goes through, and we happen to be going through it on this one. And I thought tonight and in Washington we did a good job of drumming up energy in those games and getting back to our attention to detail, getting back to our defense and physicality. And we're going to need that. We have a couple here at home, and then we turn right around and have a similar run next week.